is the governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson.
Hey, Georgie. All right, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, we've been given 2 minutes to tell you how we're going to balance the budget, get out of Iraq, give opportunities to every American, strengthen the middle class. I can do it in 4 words: elect a Democratic president. Now, I think it's really important now that we have a strong nominee. The worst thing we can do is tear each other down. So what I am proposing is that every Democratic candidate sign a pledge that we will not engage in any negative campaigning towards each other. It's critically important that we have a nominee that can talk to the American people and have values. It's critically important that we have a Democratic nominee that can be elected all around the country in every region. It's critically important that we talk about how we're going to resolve problems. This country is bitterly divided. The war in Iraq has divided this country, blue, red states, Republicans, and Democrats. We need somebody that can bring this nation together in an atmosphere of civility and for all Americans. It's critically important that the next president address the huge problems of the middle class, a middle class that is squeezed in terms of pensions, health care costs, wages. In New Mexico, we have led the way. Governors have led the way. Governors actually do things. And in New Mexico, we have created in the last 4 years 84,000 new jobs. And we have created those jobs. They're high-paying, high-wage jobs. But we have not let union families not be part of this prosperity. I was in office almost the first 2 weeks in my legislative session. We reinstated collective bargaining, and we have it in New Mexico. We also in New Mexico have, and I want you to check, the most generous pay and health care package for state employees in the country, and we did it in New Mexico. In New Mexico, the prevailing wage is the union wage, and we also made card check the law. So my point here is that a lot of candidates and a lot of people talk about these things. I've done it. I've done it. And so when I say to you that the enormous challenges facing this country, both here and abroad, must be addressed by somebody who has experience, who's been in the arena, who's done something. The next president is going to have to get us out of Iraq. And it's critically important that the Congress authorize this war. Now they should deauthorize this war. But we should do it in a way that gives Iraq a chance, with diplomacy, with inclusion. The next president must restore America's prestige internationally. We should not be known for Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib and eavesdropping and violating the Geneva Conventions. We should be known as an America for democracy and human rights. The next president must fight for that great, great challenge the whole world has, global climate change. And we should do it with mandatory emissions and reductions. The next president must make this country energy independent. And we can do this not with little energy bills here and there, but with a man on the moon effort that says The 65% in imported oil reliance is unacceptable. And we're going to go down to 10, and it's going to be done by public and private investment in renewable technologies, in solar, wind, biomass, and fuel cells, distributed generation. And we're going to have a president that can make this happen. The next president is going to have to create high-wage jobs for our country. The next president is going to have universal health care for every American. The next president must also improve our schools. Our schools need to be more competitive. So I'm delighted to be with you, but let me just say something else. Well, I was told 2 minutes, but I've been watching all the other candidates. They've gone a little more. So my last point. The American union movement is important. I want all of those that are working families, working people, unions to know that I'll be very proud to sign the Employee Free Choice Act. I will work for it, and I will make it happen. Thank you. Did I go over?
It's been an elastic 2 minutes today for a lot of people. That's okay. Let me pick up on the comments, though, you made in your opening statement about civility. You want all the candidates to sign a pledge. So let me bring you in on the news of the day. Do you think Senator Obama should denounce those comments by David Geffen?
Yes. Because I think that if we're going to win, we have to be positive. If there's anything about Democrats that in the last few years being a governor, I felt is we just can't criticize the president. There's plenty to criticize. But we should advance our own policies, our own solutions. What's our plan on Iraq? What's our plan on education? And I think that these name callings are not good. I don't know, Mr. Geffen. I don't know what was said. I was actually studying for this presentation, so I didn't see all the news. But I do think that we don't need that. We Democrats should sign a pledge that we all be positive. That's what the American people want, and that's how we're going to win.
Everyone today, including you, have talked about universal health care, but I've seen a difference in the candidates today. Governor Vilsack said we don't necessarily have to increase taxes to pay for universal health care. You saw Senator Edwards say, don't believe anyone who says that. Who's right?
I would not increase taxes. I believe that, if anything, Democrats have been viewed, our solution is always to increase taxes, and we shouldn't. I believe in universal health care. The problem is the excessive cost of health care and the coverage. This is what I would do. First of all, I would focus on preventive health care, child obesity programs, programs that deal with preventive health care. But the big problem is the huge administrative costs of health care. 31% of the costs are administrative. A lot of it is waste. There are 50 Medicaid programs. Governor Vilsack and I manage them. We don't get enough resources from the federal government. They don't give us the flexibility to run them. What I like is what some states have done and some governors have done. And that is a Massachusetts-style plan with good benefits that basically says we facilitate it for employers and employees to get mandatory coverage. I believe that that's a very important step that we ought to look at nationally. What I would also do is make sure for the uninsured that we find ways to, for instance, our main responsibility should be to insure all children under 5. We've done that in New Mexico, and we should do that nationally. Secondly, we should insure all working adults, all working families. The third phase would be the chronically unemployed. The way you do that is by improving efficiencies and costs. The way you do that is not have Medicare and Medicaid covering seniors and disabled. It should be one. We should expand the SCHIP program, as I said, to cover children. I don't think the solution of the Democratic Party should always be to either spend more or tax more. I believe if we have partnerships between hospitals, between communities, between the state, the federal government, and you give flexibility to the states, we can have universal health care.